That was a pretty big year for you. You get the 10-point game. You had 5 goals against the Flyers in the playoffs. And then in '76, the '76 Canada Cup, you were lucky enough to play on, which probably a lot of people mention as probably the best team Canada's ever put on the ice. I don't know if you agree with that.
Well, they're obviously Canada since '76, even '72, have put some pretty good teams on the ice, so it's hard to compare one to the other. But I look at that particular team in '76. Bobby Hull, the great Bobby Hull, was there. Bobby Orr, that was basically his last kind of good hockey that he played because of his knee injury. Dennis Potvin was a young guy. Guys like Marcel Dion, Phil Esposito was there. And I counted them up. I think there's 16, 17 guys off that team ended up being in the Hockey Hall of Fame. So that's a pretty significant number. And it was the first Canada Cup. So the difference then than now, the European names weren't household names. They were just starting to come into the National Hockey League, and there was, now everybody knows the Mats Sundin who plays with Sweden. They see all the other players in the other countries when you have a World Cup. So there was this mystique about these other teams before that you didn't know. We beat the Czechs, and nobody expected the Czechs to be in the finals. Everybody would have thought the Russians were, especially coming off the '72 series. But it was the best hockey that I played in my life. It was the only championship team I was on as a professional, and to represent Canada, to win it in the Montreal Forum. As a young kid growing up, the Canadians were my favorite team, believe it or not, and the Montreal Forum was always a special place to play, so I hold that moment dear in my heart.
Okay. Speaking of, so you're in Game 2 of the '76 Canada Cup, tied 4-4, I believe. Or was it 5-4?
4-4.
And there's the rumor, or I guess a lot of people confirmed, that Don Cherry came down and had said, to kind of hesitate, take the shot on Zarilla, and he'll kind of bite because he was coming out too far. Did he come right to you and say that? Or?
No, what had happened there is Don was one of the 4 coaches. He was up in the press box and obviously watching from up there. And what had happened, Zarilla, we were in the dressing room and on the bench. I mean, players talk amongst each other, and we suggested that if you do get a chance coming down the wing, make sure you take a look up, and you might make a fake of a shot because he might be right out on top of you, but hesitate a little bit. And we had talked about that, but what had happened, at the end of the regulation time, Don Cherry did come down in the dressing room like he normally would, and as he was walking through in front of the guys, not just directly at me, but he said, hey, you guys, when you get a chance, free chance coming off the wing, make sure you look up because Zarilla's probably going to be out. And that's how I scored the goal. And then afterwards, Don was interviewed, and he didn't know what we had said before him being down there, but obviously he was aware of that, and that's the way I scored the goal, and we'll all get credit for it.
Can you describe that play, how it developed, and immediately what you started to think as soon as the puck came onto your stick?
Well, what had happened, the puck came up along the boards to Lanny McDonald, and Lanny and I played together a long time, and he's a good hard winger, solid winger on the boards, got the puck up to Marcel Dion, and I was playing left wing that shift. For the most part, I played center the game, but Scotty threw Marcel Dion and Lanny and I together, and Marcel got it. He saw me breaking, dumped the puck, and the defenseman actually jumped up, stepped up, a little bit of a bouncing puck, and he gambled, and I knocked it behind him, threw him somehow, and went around him, and then there I was, Zarilla and I coming in off the top of the circle, and I looked up, and he was coming out, and there wasn't a lot of room to put it in, and it all happened so fast, and it was a great moment for me and a great moment for Canada.
Okay. Go back to the Leafs a little bit.